So years ago, right after getting out of the Marine Corps, I went shopping with my sister to rebuild my wardrobe. Now at this point in my life, I didn't know what I was doing. But fortunately, my sister was a seasoned pro when it came to shopping. So not only did she help me find the shirts, jackets, and trousers that I would need, but she also helped me find the perfect pair of shoes. And I remember exactly what she said whenever I presented her with a few options that I personally liked. So the first pair, she was like, no, we're not having that. The second pair, she said, those are nice. They're classic. It'll get the job done. It'll match the outfit. But that third pair, she's like, you wear those, people are going to look you over in a good way. Seriously, she was adamant that I grab them because she was like, hey, as a woman, I'm going to look at those shoes and say, hey, that guy's got style. So what shoes did I go with? Well, I hedged my bets and I ended up buying both, which I'm happy I did because over the next couple of years, I wore each of those shoes probably over 100 times. So does that mean the perfect pair of shoes needs to be a dress shoe? No, not at all. In fact, for a lot of you guys, a more casual option like a pair of sneakers or a pair of boots is going to be a much better pick. You see, the first step in finding the perfect pair of shoes for you is assessing your needs. Do you need a formal shoe? Do you need a work shoe? Do you need a casual shoe? Do you need a specialty sports shoe? What's your environment? Are you going to be walking? Are you going to be standing? Are you going to be outside? What are the weather conditions going to be? One of my first jobs was working at an oil change shop, and they specifically required non-slip shoes, black in color, with steel toes. So when looking for the perfect pair of shoes, consider your daily routine. How often are you going to wear the shoes? Dress codes, travel frequency. Now the next step to finding the perfect pair of shoe is to understand the different types of construction and when they're incredibly useful. So when it comes to cemented shoes, basically this means shoes that are glued together the upper and the lower part of the shoe. And to be straight up, gents, it's not always a bad thing, especially for sports shoes. One, it keeps the cost down versus having to stitch shoes together, which takes a lot longer, and it also keeps the shoes lighter. Another detail to pay attention to is material. Again, depends on the type of shoe, but right here, as you can see, we've got a sole with a lot of grip made from rubber, and an upper that's breathable, in this case made from recycled materials. Now jumping back over to construction, let's talk about stitching. That's when the upper and the lower part of the shoe are connected with a durable thread, and the two most common types of construction are a Blake stitch, which you can see here, that's going to happen more on the inside of the shoe, but when it comes to the highest durability, the ability to resole, and water resistance, you want to look for a Goodyear welt. This is going to be the gold standard of construction. Now when it comes to higher end footwear, the material we're going to see that has predominantly dominated over the last couple thousand years is leather. Now, the biggest part of that is that it performs. Not only is it going to be weather resistant, especially when treated, but it's incredibly durable. And by durability, I mean resistance to abrasion, the ability to bend again and again, tens of thousands of times before it starts to break down. And by the way, the sponsor of today's video, Thursday Boots, uses a Goodyear welt in almost all of their footwear construction. Now, gents, I've been talking about Thursday Boots for years, and yes, they have a wide selection of boots, but they have expanded. And if you haven't been over to their website to look at their shoe selection, you are missing out. Seriously, gents, if you're looking for the classics, a pair of black Oxfords with a sleek and elegant toe box that you could dress up with a suit, Thursday Boots has you covered. If you're looking for a classic loafer in a variety of colors that you can dress up, that you can dress down, guys, go over to Thursday Boots. These are absolutely amazing. I've been wearing them and I love them. Or maybe you want something classic but eye-catching, a pair of brogues. Yes, you want that leather work, but still you want it in a dark color that's not going to grab too much attention, but just enough for people to know that you got style. Gents, if that's you, get over to Thursday Boots and see what they're all about. Look at all the options you've got when it comes to styles, when it comes to color. Thursday Boots has you covered when it comes to finding the perfect pair of shoes for you. Seriously, gents, use that link to make sure you get the best deal on the web. Again, Thursday Boots, I've been talking about this company for years because they are a great deal, awesome boots, great selection, they're stylish, and they've also got a great return and exchange policy and money back guarantee. Again, gents, use that link, go check out Thursday Boots, awesome company, proud to support them. Now, the next step to finding the perfect pair of shoes is finding the right size. Now, as kids, most of us grow up wearing sneakers, which can lead to the problem of when you go to buy leather shoes, you find that the fit isn't as flexible. I mean, it's obvious when you think about it, but when you buy shoes that have an upper that pretty much all around have a lot of stretch to them, well, the fit is a lot more forgiving, especially at the beginning of the relationship. But gents, I'm here to tell you that leather shoes, leather boots can be just as comfortable if you find the right fit, and that's key. Now, when it comes to a laced dress shoe, the 5 areas that you want to pay attention to are the toe box. In this area, your toes should be snug, but there shouldn't be any pressure. Next up, we got the back heel area. It should fit comfortably with minimal to no slippage. If your heel is slipping in and out, the dress shoe is too big. Next up, we've got the instep. Now this should be snug and supportive without causing any pressure points. And the great thing about a lacing system is you can loosen and tighten this area. Next up, let's talk about the shoe width. Now this should be snug, but never tight across the foot. If it is, you're going to need to find a different style of shoe. And finally, length. In general, your longest toe should be about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch from the end of the shoe. Now, when it comes to non-lace shoes, all that's going to remain the same except for the instep. You really want to make sure you get a good fit here. It's also important to note that unless you're staying with the same brand, a size 9 in one company is not equal to a size 9 in another. I know, you would think that they would get this figured out, but the reality is different companies use different types of lasts. Lasts are basically the foot model that's used to be able to build the shoe around. And in fact, some companies even change it up so that they have different lasts with different models. Now, when it comes to laced boots on the instep, you're going to have some options to loosen it up or tighten it up. But the area that's not going to change is going to be the ankle support and the height of the boot. So you want to make sure that's comfortable. Now, the quick tip here is to wear the same socks that you would wear with the shoes. If you're wearing ankle socks with these, it's not going to feel as good as if you're wearing calf-length socks, which you probably would be wearing with this particular style. Now, Western boots are a bit unique because the fit is really in the toe box and the instep. With these styles, especially with a little bit higher heel, you're going to find that most of the hold the boot is going to put on your foot is going to be in this area. In fact, when it comes to the fit in the heel of a pair of Western boots, you want a little bit more play than you would normally have in a pair of dress shoes. And if for some reason Western boots, cowboy boots in particular, that type of style is a little bit too much for you, maybe look at a pair of ropers. They're not going to have as much of a heel. And this style, in my opinion, is one of the most comfortable type of non-laced boots out there. And for those of you guys with huge calves, it also has a shorter shaft. So if you ever find a pair of Western boots is just too tight in that area, this would be, again, the style that you'd want to check out. Now, the next step to finding the perfect pair of shoes is to choose the right style. Now, I've got some really cool infographics that break out all the different styles and where they fall from casual to more formal. But in general, what you want to understand is a lot of this is based off of tradition. A lot of it's based off of culture. When you look at shoes, there is going to be the style and then there is going to be the color. These two features, not counting material, are going to be the main determinants. Now, I know material has an effect, and I'll talk about certain materials individually, but for right now, I want to be really clear. Usually, the more sleek, the simpler the shoe, and the darker the color, in general, those are going to be more formal types of footwear. Shoes that are lighter in color and have more complicated designs, those in general are going to be more casual. Now, of course, you can have a pair of dress shoes that are light in color or a pair of casual shoes that are dark in color. But the point I want to get across, if you're looking for a pair of formal shoes, going with a pair of classic, clean, black Oxfords is a smart bet. While a white running shoe with high contrast is always going to be casual. Now, when it comes to dress shoes, in general, what we're looking for is a closed lacing system. Now, in a classic closed lacing system, you're going to have the front part of the shoe, the vamp, is going to be on top of the back part of the shoe, the quarter, around the lacing area. An open lacing type shoe is going to have the complete opposite, where the vamp, the stitched part, the back part of the shoe, is going to be on top of the front. It's a small distinction. I think nowadays most people don't even notice it, but I want you to know so you can make an informed decision, and if you decide to break the rules, go with a pair of derbies, which have an open lacing system and in general are a little bit more casual. But if you like the look of those derbies, and you're like, you know, I'm going to wear these with a suit anyway, then you're making a choice based off of your style knowledge. And that's what I like to see, a man making his own choices, but understanding the rules and when he's breaking them, why he's breaking them. Now, brogues are going to be one of the more casual types of dress shoes out there. You've got 4 different types. In general, the less broguing, the dressier the shoe is going to be. But again, any of these styles you could actually pull off with a suit nowadays and still look good. Now, when it comes to casual shoes, this is where we're going to see the widest variety of styles. We're going to see a classic loafer like this that you could actually wear with a casual suit. Running shoes in all their different colors and styles are going to fall into this category. Western boots are going to fall into this category. Laced boots, yes, even in black, are going to fall into this category with most styles. And yes, I know there are laced boots that are technically dress shoes made with a closed lacing system. I'm going to skip over those for right now. Most boots out there are going to fall into the casual category. So what I like about this, you can wear them with jeans, you can wear them with a pair of gray flannel trousers. But yeah, casual footwear, we're going to find all different styles, all different colors, and combinations under the sun. Now, I talked about color earlier, but remember, in general, darker colors are going to be more formal. They also have a long history. Darker colors just simply, they were easier to manufacture. They were better at covering up stains. And when it came to matching the dark colored clothing men were wearing at the time, dark shoes didn't provide much contrast. They fit in with the overall look. But nowadays, you're going to see tons of men, especially young men, go for a higher contrast shoe, white in particular. And personally, I like it. Maybe throw in a little bit of an accent color or something like that, but I see why a lot of guys go for the contrast because they also want versatility. The great thing about high contrast shoes like this is they're going to work with anything because they're going to contrast with anything. However, I think the biggest decision a lot of guys have when it comes to investing in footwear is to go with black or go with brown. Now, me personally, I like brown, but in general, earth tones work in my wardrobe, and that's something I paid attention to. When I got started though, I went with the classic black, and I think if you're just getting started, what's nice about black is you don't have to worry about the color. It's going to work with most of the clothing you're trying to wear it with, and in many ways, it just allows you to focus in on the style aspects of the shoe. Now, I personally wear dark brown in a lot of formal situations, but technically you're supposed to wear black, FYI, so if you are going to a black tie event, understand you need to have a pair of black classic Oxfords, polished up, looking good, or a pair of slippers which do work with a tuxedo. That being said, let's have a little bit of fun in the comments. Do you like your shoes black? Do you like your shoes brown? Let me know down below. Now, I mentioned earlier, when you're trying shoes on, make sure to wear the socks that you'd be wearing with the shoes. As some of you guys know, you've got thicker, maybe athletic socks. If you wear them with a pair of dress shoes, you'll find that the shoes will fit differently if you go with a pair of very thin dress socks. On top of that, a new pair of shoes, especially if they're leather, the sole is going to be squeaky clean. So make sure whenever you get these, you're walking around on carpet. Yes, you want to walk around and get a feel for them, but don't go out and walk on cement, because if you scratch the surface up, most companies will then view the shoe as being used and won't accept a return.
Crisscross, straight up and down.
Oh, and when to try on the shoes? At the end of the day, not at the beginning of the day, because at the end of the day, you've been up, you've been walking around, there's a lot more blood in your feet. They're a little bit larger, and that's the foot size that you want to go for, not first thing in the morning when your feet are actually a tiny bit smaller. Oh, and with leather shoes in particular, don't forget about the break-in period. I've personally found with most of the shoes in my collection, that means about 1 to 2 days of full wear before it starts to feel like a perfect fit. And with that being said, gents, let's talk about Western boots. I got you covered with this video right here. I think it's one of the better videos we made. I didn't wear boots and I talk about why. So if you're curious, check out this video right here. I talk about why I didn't wear them, now why I love them. And yeah, you'll learn a lot about the history. Great. And by the way, you don't have to be a cowboy to wear Western boots. It's all covered in this video right here.